Good afternoon, guys. It is March 1st, 2024. In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean and service a fan. Now, this particular one is a Honeywell air circulator fan. These are very common. These are pretty cheap. They're like under 20 bucks. Brand new, but regardless, it's good to keep them clean and maintained. And as you can see, this one is pretty gross, pretty dirty. It's been in the garage for a while. So I actually have two of these. And they're great little fans, but they do need to be cleaned every once in a while and lubricated. I would recommend wearing gloves because it kind of gets a little dirty, especially when you get to lubricating the motor. But that's up to you entirely if you want to do that or not. Now, you can just wipe down the outside or vacuum the outside of the grill and stuff. There's a bunch of spider webs and stuff in here. I don't know if you can see that. But before I take anything apart, I'm just going to vacuum off the surface stuff just so we don't make a mess everywhere. So, bear with me. Okay, so now I got the majority of the surface dirt and stuff off. I'm going to remove 6 screws along the back. You'll find them, and it's really is a pretty easy process, although there is one thing that I will show you that I ran into when I did the other one, and it is something that a consumer can get around. Just planned obsolescence, really. But I'm going to show you, the consumer, how you can bypass that. It won't affect the performance, it won't affect safety, nothing like that. So, I will tell you when I get to there. The This one is actually missing a screw, which is interesting. These are old fans. They're not that old, but they're older. You can see there's more dust inside. So screws can go in the tray here. Okay. So it's actually a little stink bug in here. Get rid of him. Okay. So if you don't have one of these magnetic trays, I highly recommend you get one. Really helps keep track of your hardware when you're doing things like this. Now you can vacuum this out or wash it by hand. There's no electronics in here, so it's perfectly safe to do so. A little dish detergent should be good. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about right here. This blade is not going to come off. There's a retainer here that is not designed to be removed. However, I'm going to break the rules and I'm going to break it off and throw it in the trash because, yeah, it's Honeywell saying, we don't care, we don't want you to get in and repair it yourself or service it. Well, guess what? I'm telling them I don't care. I'm getting into it. So after that, it's off, and there's a little flat part of the shaft, and you can wedge just a tiny flathead screwdriver in that notch and then just pry it off. And you can just say goodbye to that. And you don't even need that on there. It's just on there to keep you from pulling the blade off. As you can see, that's really dirty. There's stuff all in this. Yeah, any hair or thread or whatever is on this shaft, you want to get that off if at all possible. I'm going to turn the vacuum back on. Okay. So, after you get that out, there are two screws back here that hold the motor in place. And you don't have to like completely disconnect the motor, but you do need to get it out to get it all cleaned out properly and get it lubricated. And they're just two Phillips head screws. And these screws are different than the ones that hold the guard on. But, yeah. And I know a lot of people that would be looking at me and going like, well, why are you bothering trying to clean this thing out or, lubricate it, when it's $16, $17 at Target or, whatever. The answer to that is, why would you throw something away that's still good? Why would you throw something away that you can service and get more life out of it? That doesn't make any sense to me. And especially if you are trying to cut things out of your budget, that's just another expense. And yeah, it's only, a few dollars here and there, but it all adds up. And you can see there's a bunch of dust and crud in the motor itself. So I'm gonna vacuum that out. That little bit of dust on that motor will prevent it from keeping itself cool and operational, and it will shorten the life of it. Now, you can take these screws out if you would like to get to the bearings. But you don't have to go this far. You can just, I might, you don't want to strip these out. These are ridiculously tight, but you can get by without taking that apart if you'd like. Now, I recommend that you have paper towels on hand because this part may get messy. So now, when it comes to the motor, you want it to be lubricated. Now, this fan is about 10 years old. Bought it about 10 years ago. And now this is the part that I really recommend wearing gloves because this oil can be a mess and it can get all over your hands. So I recommend using the 3-in-1 oil. There are two different kinds. Look for the one that has the pictures on the back of what you're trying to do. Now this is geared more towards electrical motors, and it has a picture of a fan on it. So to me, that indicates that it would be a better option for fans. Now, you don't want to use something like WD-40 or something. It's really not designed for this. But what you're gonna do, I want to make sure that this is in frame here, so that way you can see. Can you guys see this? Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, there's a bearing in the back here, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some oil kind of in between that. You don't want too much, but you just want enough to, that's already spinning much better. And even if your fan is still functioning properly, it's a good idea to oil these every few years. I definitely would recommend doing it more often if you use your fan a lot. I know a lot of people use a fan every single night to go to sleep. And if that's you, then you definitely want to lubricate your fan more often. Now, that's the back bearing. And then the front, I'm going to get both sides of the front bearing here. Now, if you spill a little oil, it's not a big deal. You can just wipe it up with a paper towel. That's why I'd recommend having a paper towel under this, so if it does ooze some oil, it doesn't get all over your fan, all over your table, all over you. You can just wipe it up as you go. And this won't hurt anything. It's just lubricating. Now, lastly, see this opening where the shaft is? I'm going to lubricate that. I'm going to make sure that oil gets down in there. And just wipe off any excess. You know, try not to have too much built up. Definitely don't want too much oil, but you want enough to where it penetrates and lubricates it very well. That's already spinning a lot nicer. It's really nice. Once you have that lubricated, you can put this back in its spot. It'll just kind of sit there. And then you're going to want to take your screws with the slightly larger heads, and you're going to want to put them back into your holes, and you'll feel them kind of drop into place. And take your Phillips head screwdriver, screw her down, and you should be good to go. Let's get this all screwed down. Piece of dirt or something on the back of that. Okay. And really, this is very simple. On this channel, I do more vacuum cleaner service and repairs, but I can also do fans as well, simple fans. It's not a big deal. So, got the motor in there. Next, you're going to take your plate, make sure it's all clean and stuff, free of dust, spider webs, and whatnot. And you're going to put it back in, just like so. Then you're going to take this one screw that's shorter that has the wide ring around the head. You're going to put it right there in the back in the center. You guys see that? It's right there. And you're going to tighten it down with your Phillips screwdriver. And really, this only takes like, maybe 10 minutes or so to do. Just a little bit of know-how, a little bit of simple care. Now I'm going to wash this stuff off camera, but for speed purposes, I'm going to put it back together. Now this hole has a little flat spot. You want to align it with the flat spot on the shaft. So, get that blade back on there. And you'll feel it kind of drop into place. Nope, I didn't get it quite right. There we go. Okay. And you're just going to push it until it is flush. And it already spins much freer. And then you're going to put your guard back on. And put all your screws back in the 6 holes, and you'll see them. You'll see the little holes. You're going to stick them in, and you're going to just screw them in. You're going to make sure that your guard is lined up and everything. Now, like I said, I'm going to do more thorough cleaning of this off camera. But I don't want it to take up more of the video than it already has. So, anyway, that's how you service a fan, at least a simple fan like this. This kind of applies to most fans, table fans, stand fans, stuff like that. If you have a tower fan, that's a little bit different, but any basic fan like this should be fairly simple. And if you keep these clean and in good condition, and you lubricate them every few years, these will last you a very long time, especially the simple ones that have the mechanical switch. Like I said, I have 2 of these that I've had for like 10 years at this point. Got them in 2013, I believe. And, yeah, they're great fans. So, But anyway, if you can keep them running and not have to throw them away, just because they're dirty or just because they're locked up, that will save you a lot of money, and it'll keep stuff out of the landfill, because the American society thinks that everything is disposable, and that's just not the case. Do things have their lifespan? Yes. But are things outright disposable, as soon as they have a problem? No. And this is just preventative maintenance too. Don't wait until it locks up to do this. Do it like once a season or once every couple years. Go through it, make sure that it's cleaned out, oiled, lubricated. You can wash these parts that have no electronics in them. They're just plastic. You can wash these parts in hot soapy water, Little Dawn or Palmolive dish soap or whatever dish soap you choose, and they'll be nice and clean. I would assume you can also put these in the dishwasher, but realistically, unless they're super dirty, like greasy, just washing them in a sink of hot soapy water with Little Dawn dish soap or something like that should be good enough to get them clean. And then just let them sit and dry for about 12 to 24 hours before you put it all back together. And once it's dry, you can put it all back together. You have a clean and well lubricated fan. And like I said, this really helps with the motion and keep it in good shape. And you should be able to get a good 10 years, 15 years out of one of these fans, especially if you get a decent one. Honeywell is a pretty good brand. I've had a couple other products. I've had 2 of these fans, and then I've had one of their air purifiers. And so far I've been very happy with Honeywell. They've been a pretty good brand. And fairly easy to service for, the end user. So, if you need a fan this year, as we head into spring, it's not quite spring yet, but I would do this now and get all your fans cleaned out and lubed up and ready to go, so that way when spring does roll around, it starts getting warmer, you have your fans all nice and clean and in good shape and ready to use, and it'll prevent some problems. So don't throw that fan away. Clean it out. It'll last you a while. So anyway, I hope this helped you be able to clean out your fan and lubricate it. And I hope you learned something from it. If you did, be sure to leave a like and leave a comment below and tell me how it went for you. And I wish you success in this service and repair. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.